This conference will now be recorded.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Alliance's weekly webinar. We are happy to have you here. As a historical context, for those who are looking at this in the archive, Zeta hit last night, and so we have a pretty small audience today, which I know a lot of folks on the coast have power outages and are working their way through a very unfortunate and sad situation. So for those who are here with us, we are happy that you are able to join. And for those of you who are watching this at a later date, I certainly hope and we hope that you and your families and your organizations are well and safe. And we appreciate you checking this out. So we do have a wonderful set of presentations today around fundraising. And ironically, normally we get a lot of folks from within Mississippi. That's kind of what we do. And we just so happen to line up the Florida folks today. And they have managed to miss the storm, and Mississippi got it. So we're kind of doing a little switcheroo on you here. But we know that there's going to be a great set of presentations, and we're happy that you're here to hear that. As we always do on our weekly webinars, particularly during COVID, we are going to acknowledge the loss of lives, over 220,000, approaching 230,000, and certainly the lives that have been lost to social injustice in our country. And so if you will join us in a moment of silence. Okay, may they rest in peace. And certainly I forgot to add anybody who passed away due to Zeta as well. I did hear that there was one individual who passed away. So tough times for a lot of folks these days. But with that, we're going to go ahead and pivot and talk about some really good news in a time when we need it. So I'd like to start us off by introducing AmFund. And we have two amazing people here from AmFund, Deborah Marshall and Callie Dunn. Deborah is the COO and Senior Vice President, an expert in strategic initiatives. Deborah Marshall is a seasoned and innovative administrator who oversees all all operations at the American Fundraising Foundation. She has held significant leadership roles in nonprofit management, fundraising, healthcare, business development, marketing, public relations, and real estate investment. Just a few things. Deborah knows firsthand the challenges of AmFund's nonprofit partners face in the ever-changing climate of grant cycles and funding shortages, as was even recently recognized in 2020's Fundraiser of the Year by Nonprofit Pro for doing so. Her disciplined and logical approach to managing any situation, combined with her business acumen and passion for success, provide a firm foundation for AmFund's phenomenal growth in helping hundreds of deserving nonprofits nationwide achieve their fundraising goals, which is very, very important, as we know, certainly here in Mississippi. Callie Dunn is the Senior Director of Development and Strategic Initiatives. Driven, focused, charismatic, and kind, Callie is the ideal development professional. She knows how to set goals and achieve them. Her years of experience in nonprofit management, combined with her commitment to volunteering, make her a true leader in the nonprofit community. From providing education as a professional sales trainer to managing membership for one of the largest girl-led organizations in the world, Callie has a wide array of expertise to share with nonprofits with whom AmFund partners. So clearly, we have two incredible people here today, and we are very excited to hear from them. So with that, I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to let these two amazing people talk. So Deborah and Callie, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Dave. We're so grateful to be here. We've heard some wonderful things about the Alliance. Number of wonderful things that you guys do and provide an opportunity for your team to share ideas. And we hope that we can present some special ideas for you today as well. So with that, why don't we start from the beginning? Let's just talk a little bit, Callie, about the history of AMP funds.
Oh, absolutely. We have such a rich history, and I love speaking about that because it's like the greatest adventure. So flashback, I'm going to take you all a few years back to 1999 when we were founded, and we have some fabulous founders. So here in Orlando, we have a great wealth of reporting stations, WESH, all these different channels. And we are so lucky to have two very well-known news reporters, Wade and Barbara West, come together with this brain trust and form the American Fundraising Foundation. So as you know, in nonprofit, news reporters are often asked to be MCs, masters of ceremonies, mistress of ceremonies, and they end up living for their weekends. Let's be real. They didn't want to focus on all the crime, chaos, and corruption that was their day-to-day work. They wanted to focus on the good they were doing for the nonprofits when they were living for their weekends, when they would, work 9 to 5 all day and then get dressed in their tuxedos and dresses and run off to a gala. And doing that, they were able to learn so much from all these different nonprofit events. I mean, even what to do if your MC backs out. I mean, we talk about the power of a woman crooking her finger. There's a story, I think you tell it best, Deborah.
So I always say that never underestimate the power of a woman crooking her finger, particularly to her husband. So Barbara West was emceeing an event, and they lost their auctioneer at the last minute. And so she just crooked her finger to her husband, who was in the audience. He came on the stage and she said, "Guess what? You're the auctioneer tonight." And surprise of surprise, he says, "I've never done that before. What can I do?" And she said, "You're doing it." And so he did. And I have to tell you that he caught the auctioneering bug. He went to school, he got his license, and then that's pretty much the foundation of how we got our start. Wade West and Barbara West did continue in the news media for a few years before they then retired and gave their all to our organization. And I will tell you that one of the most important parts of that is that in their learning about organizations, they recognize that so often there is a lot of money that's left on the table at these events. And so they developed a real strategic plan and an educational program for our nonprofit partners. And so we go about our day identifying nonprofit organizations that we feel are worthy of our support. And so we donate money from proceeds from either an auction, a silent auction, a hybrid event, an in-person event, and now even with COVID, we have done virtual events for the first time ever. And I think that we've kind of solidified ourselves in the marketplace as being a host type organization for doing some of the incredible things. We'll talk about COVID in just a minute, but I just want to show you a couple of pictures here. So this is, we're going to flip the screen here so you can see it. Give us a moment here.
Let me get my slideshow going for you guys. All right.
We fund your cause. That's the first slide. That's exactly what we do. That's sort of our DNA. But then we'll show you a picture of Wade and Barbara in the early days of them on the stage doing open ask, doing auctions. The little girl that you see here is someone who was actually saved through our efforts to raise money for an organization that was putting in what's called an ECMO unit. And she had some smoke inhalation issues, and had it not been for us being able to place that piece of equipment and fund an organization to get that, she would not have survived. And so her mother actually handed this little girl off to Wade. You remember that story,
Yes.
Callie? And so he had her on stage. So really, really important. Go to the next slide just so we can show the picture. So we would normally bring our trips of a lifetime to an in-person event. I love those days. We were talking earlier about the travel.
Oh yes. Oh my gosh. We long for the days of the networking and the hugging and the philanthropic bug being alive in the room and all of the energy. So we cannot wait to get back to live in-person events, but we're happy to support virtual and hybrids during the time being.
Yep, absolutely. So like everyone on this call and on this chat, we're an organization that pivoted. And when COVID hit, I think that like many organizations, we knew that we needed to make some adjustments. So think about this. We are a nonprofit 501c3 that provides trips of a lifetime for silent auctions, live events, hybrids, whatever. And we also travel around the country as part of an organization's event. And the organizations would have large galas or different events during the summer, whether it's a golf tournament or whatever. And all of a sudden that stopped almost immediately. People were not able to congregate. They were not able to do the things that they had normally done. And so it was sort of new to everybody. So there were a lot of organizations that were like deers in the headlights. They didn't know exactly what to do. But I will tell you that out of these kind of difficulties, there is innovation. There is a silver lining. I have to tell you that as part of what we did, we created a wonderful virtual event program. And we now host a number of organizations. I think we've raised, just as part of COVID, over $650,000 for organizations.
That's growing every day. Yep. If we check the numbers today, I'm sure it's way surpassed that.
Oh, I'm sure it has. And so it's very, very exciting. And one of the things that we do is we provide that educational component. Callie, I always turn to you when we're talking about social media. Just touch on that a little bit, if you would.
Oh, absolutely. One of the big initiatives we've focused on since COVID and since this virtual space has really been teaching nonprofits to utilize the tools that they already have. And so when you're looking at your virtual event and you're looking at pivoting, your social media and your analytics and your followings are so important. So we've done quite a few webinars and recorded sessions on our YouTube channel that go into a lot of depth about the social media analytics. And we're happy to send that to you all as well, because it's such a valuable tool.
Right. So our blogs are, constant. We roll one out, I think, once a week,
if not more.
So it's such a library of information. We do a lot of training. We have a speakers bureau so that we have the opportunity to either come to you and talk to you about some of the things that you need to do. We've done board retreats and so many different things that are to the advantage of our nonprofit partners. So let's just roll it back for a second, and we can go to the full screen and drop off with this. There we go. So I can eyeball everybody. So an organization like one of yours might have an interest in getting some additional funding. So first step in that is to contact us either on our website or to contact us directly by phone. We then would have we call a qualifying call. We understand about your organization, what your mission is, what your cause is, what you're doing, what some of the challenges are that you face. And once we have a determination that you're a good fit for our organization, and I'm confident that everyone on this particular session happens to be, we would then present you to our board, and you would get approval for us to then support you in one of the many funding opportunities that we offer to organizations. It might be for an in-person gala event. It might be for a golf outing. It might be a hybrid event of the two, a virtual as well as an in-person. We're finding that a lot. Haven't you seen that?
Oh, absolutely. But one point I would like to make that I think you might have missed, Deborah, is anytime we support these events, anytime our board approves support for an organization, those funds are unrestricted, aren't they?
Oh, they are. They're unrestricted. And so when we're making donations to organizations, not only do we cover the cost of someone traveling to your event, if we actually are doing an in-person event. If it has something to do with a virtual event and you happen to use our auction platform, that is at no cost to your organization. We even cover the credit card fees.
Oh my gosh, yes, we do.
So everything that we do, Wade and Barbara implemented this foundation so that it is all to the advantage of the nonprofit organization. And when we say we fund your cause, we do. So whether it's a humane society, whether it's for literacy, whether it's for a hospital or a hospice, there were just so many different organizations. And I think that we actually expanded in 2020, recognizing the need for so much funding. We expanded to, I think, over 600 organizations.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Right, as far as supporting them, and that's across the United States. We have a heart and love for Mississippi, and we are sorry that you've been so impacted by the various storms this year. But we recognize that there are needs. There is one particular one that you've worked with in the Mississippi market that they were struggling and didn't know if they were going to be able to keep their doors open as a nonprofit, providing essential services to others in their community. And so we did a virtual event with them, and they were able to secure significant dollars.
Oh, absolutely. It's so exciting to see the pivot and the innovation. You know, when we go off course a little bit, we're like, oh, we can't fundraise. What are we going to do? Yes, you can. You just need a little extra help. And it's so exciting to see the organizations just have those funds that they so desperately need.
Absolutely. So roll forward, as I was saying, we then did the pivot like everyone else. And even though we were not able to attend events were canceled, we developed the virtual silent auction as well as the virtual streaming event. And so there are a lot of tools that we offer to all of our nonprofits to make that happen. And again, they're very, very successful. And then, lest I forget, we also developed a grant program. We call it the Golden Pear Award. You see the Golden Pear behind us, several of them. It's in our logo. People don't even know what that means, Callie.
Oh my gosh, the golden pear is so special to us, and we hope it'll be very special to you after this as well. But if you look historically at the pear tree and the fruit it produces, the pear has always been regarded as longevity and fruitful. I mean, even what back to the Egyptians, right?
Right.
And so we really saw that as an icon for not only what we do, but for what those organizations we support do. So yeah. You said it best, whether it's an animal, you know, being taken in off the street or a woman receiving services. I mean, those are the golden pear stories. Those are the icons of what we fund. And like Deborah said, we fund your cause.
So the grants that we have identified distributing in July, we had never done that before. And so innovatively, we decided we needed to stretch as a nonprofit organization as well. And so we gave 21 grants this past summer. We called them our Golden Pear Awards. And they ranged anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000. We had over 615 applicants for those particular grants, and we reviewed every single one of them. Every single person who applied for a grant received a phone call from us so that we could make absolutely certain that we were understanding what their needs are, because we offer a lot of different opportunities for organizations, not just the outright grants. To give you an example, 2 weeks ago, we had a virtual event for an organization, and they netted, just from what we did for them through our donation, over $30,000 just in that one event. And so there are a lot of funding opportunities, but the actual grants were so successful this past summer that we decided to also expand that. So we have now opened another grant cycle. It opened just this week.
Actually, yes, it opened Tuesday and it goes through midnight, December 1st. So I'll be sure to put in the comments here how you can apply, how you can get in touch with us. We would really look forward to seeing your applications. And like Deborah said, you'll be getting a call so we can have further in-depth conversations, because we know 2020 has been such a year.
So we have we probably are going to see as many or more applications than what we saw in the summer, but we're committed to giving as much back to our organizations as possible. And so we encourage each of you to participate in that. We'd like to open it up for us to answer any questions that your team might have.
Deborah and Callie, that is incredible. I did not know all of that, and I'm so glad I didn't know. I love learning new things. It's very rare that you come across an organization doing what you're doing the way you are. Are there any commonalities or certain types of work that you all prioritize, or is it really just if falls within certain parameters? How do you decide who gets money and who doesn't? And is there any sort of helpful insights you could give to organizations as they think about applying?
So Dave, I appreciate that question, especially because as we talk to organizations, certainly I think that all of us recognize that many people, whether they had food pantries or helping the homeless or relocation for jobs and things of that nature, people tend to think about those organizations first and foremost during a crisis, but we think broader than that. We recognize that there are spiritual needs, we recognize that there are emotional needs, and sometimes that can only be fulfilled by the arts. It can only be fulfilled by some of the therapy programs that are available and out there. Suicide has been a huge, huge issue since COVID shutdowns. And so we look at the big picture, and if you go on our website and you see all the different organizations that were funded in our last cycle, you'll see that we did literacy programs, we did YMCA, we did a number of different organizations that were kind of outside that scope of what you might expect. And so I think for those who are watching this, who are interested in applying, just recognize that we absolutely will not discount you for what you do. We hear really compelling stories, so thank you for that question.
And Carla, I just saw your question in the chat. We do work nationally, so the nonprofit partners range from state to state. We don't just focus here in Florida. We try and really spread the wealth nationally.
We do a lot of work on the Northeast. We do a lot, as Callie said, throughout the country. And there is no area that we have not gone to, quite frankly, all 50 states.
Did I hear you say correctly earlier that I heard something about a reference to there only being one in Mississippi? Did I hear that?
No, we have many, but there was one in particular that was really struggling. And so with our help, they are able to actually continue with their mission and their cause. Without us, I don't know what they would have done. I really don't.
Yeah. Wonderful. I want to open it up. Anybody else? Questions, comments?
One of the advantages, by the way, to my being on the phone for this call is that I'm free to use my computer while you're talking. So I'm on your website. And I just want everybody to know that this website is filled with really good information. And I love the page where you've got the testimonials. You can just see the variety of organizations you've helped, the span geographically where you've been. This is phenomenal. And I had no idea that y'all existed. So I'm like Dave on this. I just feel like my eyes have been so opened just by this quick little overview from you. So thank you so much for sharing with us.
Well, thank you, Rebecca, and thank you for that plug to our website. It is a wealth of information, and people can go there. It's at www.amfund.org. And for those of you who are interested in the grant cycle that's going on, you can go to that same website /giving, or just directly, and there's a button there that will link you to the application. We try to keep the application as simple as possible because we recognize that your time is also important to get back to your cause. I don't know how many times that I have seen applications for grants that just go on and on and on and on. And you know what? We don't have time for that. We need to be about the business of taking care of people and animals and kiddos and things of that nature. So thank you, Rebecca. We appreciate it. I hope everyone will go to our website.
Wonderful. I think we're just about ready to pivot. If there's one more question, I know I have one. Is there a percentage breakdown of how many grants are sort of cyclical and renew regularly, or versus those that are one-off for specific events? Do you all have a preference? Any thoughts on that?
So for the grants, that's new every year. So our grant cycle, we offer new opportunities, which is so great. But as far as our partnership, we are not typically like a one and done kind of group. We will partner for year after year. If it's still a good fit, obviously we want to do the best job for the nonprofit we're supporting. But no, our partners count on us year after year, event after event.
Okay, folks. If you don't apply for a grant, I don't know what you're thinking, because I'm about to fill one out.
And thank you so much for the invitation. We look forward to being with you again.
This is great. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Callie. You are, of course, welcome to stay on the webinar, but if not, have a wonderful day. Thank you. And as we say to all of our presenters, be safe and be well. And we look forward, and we want an update on the outcomes. I'm telling you, I'm going to personally push people to fill out those grants. So we have till December 1st, you said?
Correct.
December 1st. Okay, folks. All right. Awesome. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Okay, so it is time for a slight intermission here. And I want to share with you our November training calendar and a special training that's coming up that I think you will be really interested in. So to start off with, let me get my calendar open here. Of course, file closes right when you need it to be open, which is ever so perfect. All right, here we go. All right, so as you can see, November is a little bit of a short month. Obviously, we have a very important holiday coming up. But one of the things that I wanted to point out that's new in terms of the catalog is the way that it's structured. So you might remember in the past that we did this in a chronological fashion, so you knew what was happening sort of when. But we've shifted it a little bit, and we're focusing on content. We heard your feedback. We heard that sometimes it's a little bit tricky in a quick glance to see what content is most relevant to you all. And so we're trying something new. If it doesn't work, you don't like it, let us know. And we can continue to try and find methods that are most effective. But we definitely have lots of things happening. And the one that I really want to highlight is communication and conflict, which is happening on Tuesday the 10th. And I'm going to open this specific flyer up so I can talk to you about it here. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so communication and conflict. This is going to be an 1.5-hour program. It is going to teach you about impact statements, how to tackle tough conversations, how to recognize common communication challenges and address them, and really to look at how your team works cooperatively. And that is the term du jour, as we sort of say, it's your team. So in this instance, this training is for at least 2 members of your organization. You certainly can bring more, but we do ask that you have at least 2 members there to participate, because while we will be working as a group, we also want you to be able to work within your own team. We only have space for 8 organizations. That's only 16 seats. So please, please register as soon as possible. I've seen this training before. It's incredible and very powerful, and I highly recommend that you and a member or members of your team take part. So that's all the plug-in that I'm going to do right now. And with that, I'm going to introduce our next presenter, who we are very fortunate to have join us. Dan Platt has over 30 years of business and management experience. Dan currently owns and manages Southeast Remarketing Service, LLC, a real estate brokerage located in Southwest Florida. Dan has been an active Florida real estate broker since 2000. In 2010, he started investing in Mississippi real estate and acquired a commercial property in Liberty, Mississippi in 2015. In 2010, Dan graduated from the Florida Auctioneer Academy and received his auctioneer license in Florida and Mississippi. I'm very happy to introduce Dan to you. And Dan, I have one request, and that is while you present, please don't speak as quickly as an auctioneer. We definitely want to make sure that we can understand everything you are saying. So with that, Dan, welcome to our webinar, and we look forward to hearing what you have to say.
Thank you, Dave, and I appreciate the opportunity. I look forward to meeting as many as we can in person when the time and COVID allows. And I'm not a fast talker, I'm not an entertainer, so if that won't happen today, or I doubt that'll ever happen with me. But one thing with my auctions is I am a Southerner. I talk fairly slow, and the bidders can understand me, and more importantly, the sellers benefit because we have fun with the crowds, but we also they can communication is very vivid. What I'd like to share with you today is a new business I started in 2020, which is an online auction. I started putting it together about a year ago before all these surprises came up, but and the reason I put it together was the commercial property I acquired in Mississippi was an apparel factory, and they abandoned a warehouse. The warehouse is 20,000 square foot. It's got 4 levels of pallet racking, and it probably has, I'd say, about 50% filled boxes of different type of apparel, more commercial uniform, polo shirts, security guard, law enforcement type uniforms that are plain. And then there's a lot of polo shirts and shirts like I have on that maybe had a Chili's logo or Arby's or Carrabba's or Fazoli's or something like that. And this is all new apparel boxed up. And in a moment, if Dave can give me the screen, I'll share some photos. But the part of the reason I started the auction, online auction, was to liquidate some of my apparel and also the equipment that was abandoned at the property. I found out very quickly Mississippi required me to have an auctioneer license. So we did comply with that. We've got our license. We were insured and bonded for auctioning in the state of Mississippi and Florida. We are located in Liberty, which is about 20 miles west of Macomb. The warehouse, we have a total of about 40,000 square foot. We're probably going to be selling 10 to 12. We're going to keep about 30 there. The warehouse is 20. I can make that available for some storage if we have auction items. We have outside facilities, about 3 acres of parking that is available. So we have a lot of opportunities for nonprofits to utilize our services, not only just for auctioning any items that are donated to them, but also to, if you need anything housed during the auction period. Now, one thing about our online auction, were you able to send out the flyer that I sent to Jessica, Dave?
I don't believe that made its way out.
We'll make that available by email, but I'll just go through some quick benefits of the online auction. One thing, you don't have a weather delay. It's socially acceptable with the COVID now, where we don't have to put a crowd in a room and a lot of people, calling out bids. With the online, you get larger audiences than you will in a conventional on-site auction. You have a diverse buyer base. It's convenient. Our auctions are timed. They can be, if it's like a fundraiser, it can be a one-day auction. And it can end at a certain time. If you're having an event or a get together, it'll end while your event is you can set that time when it ends. If it's for a select group, we can go password. So no, only registered bidders with that password can sign in and bid on your items. So it wouldn't be open to the general public. But most of our auctions are open to the general public. They're timed anywhere from 1 week to up to 30 days. It's more exposure for your items because the bidders can not only, an auctioneer on a live auction generally has just a few seconds to give key features and benefits in order to build value. With an online auction, all the key features and benefits are right there for them to read in the disclosure and the promotion of the item. So the cataloging is very important with the online auction to help build the features and benefits. The bidding can be open longer. If you do an on-site auction, bidding, you're limited to an hour or 2 or 3, depending on the crowd and how long you can keep their attention. With online auction, again, we're going to be open for a week to 30 days. If it's a nonprofit that wants to do just an evening event, the bidding will only be open for an hour or 2 that evening. Instant engagement, we can do marketing. They can get an email from us and click on our link and log in, and if they're interested, they could register. Registering for auctions is free. We do have some security features in place for our online auction. The bidder must register with a credit card in their name. There's no cost. It's just a verification process done through our merchant system. And then also in the background, we monitor IP addresses. We have a problem bidder, we can address that very quickly, and then we can blacklist their IP, so therefore they can't wreak havoc on the auction. So we have a number of security features that run in the background of the auction. We can also link up with like Proxybid or AuctionZip that are well known to kind of give turbo boost our traffic to our site. The other thing is the bidders don't need to travel. They can get right like we are right now. I'm in Florida, you're in Mississippi, I'm in South Florida, the other ladies are up in Orlando. We can do it from the convenience of our offices or homes. With the online auction, we can be in multiple locations that way. We provide more details, and generally that's going to get you higher offers for your items. We can close items every minute. So if we had 200 items, we can close very quickly, to where if you're out doing an on-site auction, you couldn't get through 200 items in an evening effectively. So we can close items very quickly. Less on-site activity. Of course, there is pickup and shipping things. There are times that we will need to come face-to-face, but we offer that services to you as a seller. And if we're housing the item, but if they're going to come pick it up at your facility, then there will be some face-to-face meeting there, but it is reduced. Weather delays, if you do an on-site auction, you may have a weather delay, just like you could have had an auction planned for yesterday. You promoted it 30 days ago, you spent a lot of money, somebody spent money, an auctioneer or you spent money advertising, promoting, and then Mother Nature decided to send a storm your way, and you would have to cancel that auction, or there would be less attendees. So we have no weather cancellation with the online auction. So that's some of the benefits of the online auction. What I'm offering to you as a nonprofit, we have no fees to the seller. In other words, you as a seller, if we're auctioning your items, we don't charge you anything. Of course, the buyer, depending on the item or items, we would charge them anywhere from a 5 to a 15% buyer premium. Generally, bidders don't pay attention to that if it's on a low dollar item. If they get into the vehicles or real estate, they may watch that. And of course, we can adjust that based on the industry and the item, the dollar amount. If you have items that are donated to you through your fundraising that you need to liquidate, you have choices, obviously, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace is great. But if you have a number of items and would like to utilize the auction process, we just want to let you know who we are. We're located in Southwest Mississippi. And we are licensed, insured, and bonded, and we're here to serve your needs. And I'll open up any questions you may have right now.
That's great, Dan. Just so you all know, I just put the link to the flyer in the chat. So you'll be able to access that. And Dan, I'll make sure that gets emailed out next week with the video recording of today's session. So we'll definitely get that out there. Dan, you had said you wanted to share something. Was that?
Can you flip over? I can just show us a couple of photos. These are the photos that I sent. Can you see that now?
No, you need to click the screen button at the bottom.
All right, you got to educate me here. Screen, there we go. Tell me to open my system preferences.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do this. Dan, we've got a little bit of time. If you want to email those to me, or if you're not comfortable doing that, I can take care of that and present it on my side while we're taking questions.
Do that. I'll email them to you real quick, and and I can multitask here. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to.
Great.
Any questions you may have.
Dan, I have a question. How easy is it to set up an online auction? A lot of the nonprofits we work with are very small and they might not be as tech savvy, but they have items that, wonderful businesses have donated to them and they would like to do a fundraiser. How easy for them is it easy for them to set up, or do you all assist with that?
We do as long as they can take a picture and type up a little, some features and benefits, we do all that work. So it's, if you have a large number of items, I'll come on site and we'll do the photographs and assist with writing up the features and benefits. But no, we do all of the posting. We manage our website. All we need is photographs, and of course we can set a reserve price if it's like a vehicle. We're not going to put it out there absolute, so somebody bids $1 and gets a vehicle. And the reserve price is not advertised. In other words, only until the bidding meets or exceeds that reserve price, then it'll say its reserve's been met. Then the other bidders know that item's going to sell. So if they really want it, they better keep bidding up to their budget. So no, we do all of the computer input, resizing photos, and but from your end, from the seller's end, we just need photos and features and benefits. And if you don't have a value on something, we'll assist you with getting a value. One thing I have is a network of other auctioneers. If it's a coin or a vehicle, we'll go to someone that can give us a value. If it may be a camper or a boat or something like that, we'll look out and come up with a value and help you come up with a reserve price. So you don't lose any money that way by selling something. And there's been some auctions, especially for governments, where they just put it out there and they don't really know what they're selling. They just need to clear out that warehouse or clear out that lot, and they tend to sell them fairly cheap. That's why a lot of people go to these online auctions, because there's a lot of deals out there to be had. But from a seller standpoint, you want to be fair to yourself, your donor, but also you want to be fair to you will be in the money. You want to have the market. If you have a card that maybe is worth $2,500, you don't want to put $5,000 on it because no one's going to bid on it. It's just wasting your time. But we may put it at 22 or 23, and if you're comfortable with that, and then hopefully we can get 24, 25 for it.
Great. Other questions?
Dave, can you give me your email address? Let's see. I don't know that I have you.
Yeah, I'll shoot that to you, Dan.
Okay.
All right. Let's check the chat here. Okay. Carla, do you want to talk real quick about the list grant real quick, since you popped it in the chat, just for people who can't see that in future viewings?
Yes, community announcements. Liz, we had them on, I think in August for a weekly webinar. There is another recovery grant that's available, but the deadline is tomorrow. It lists several states that are available for this grant, and Mississippi is one of them. So I popped that link in the chat. And you can go to, if you're on the phone, you go to www.lisc.org/rule /our impact, and you should be able to get to it.
Wonderful. Thank you, Carla. While we're working on getting those images up for Dan, let's see here. Anybody else have anything else they'd like to share? And Dan, we'll hop right back once we get that all set up.
I'm putting one more thing in the chat, and this is to share for the Gulf Coast Hub. Of course, we usually have a lot of people from the Gulf Coast on the weekly webinar, but a lot of them are out of power. But they will need volunteers once everything is safe. So I'm popping Bridget Turan's information in. She's the Gulf Coast Hub Director, and how to sign up to be a disaster volunteer on the Gulf Coast.
All right, thank you, Carla. Dan, I'm seeing lots of images here. Let me start to put some of them up on the screen. And can you talk through what people are seeing? One second here.
Yeah, this is just a few of the items. All the apparel is new. Okay, it's nothing used, worn, laundered. It's all new. It's been maintained in a climate-controlled warehouse. We like to have red polo shirts. Probably it's got like a royal blue stripe on the collar. There are probably 3,000 of those. I've got probably 1,000 or so just regular navy blue polo shirts. We have a lot of stuff that's got Chili's or Arby's or Fazoli's on it that, you know, if it's a homeless person, they probably don't really care what the logo says. The pants, all the pants are unhemmed. The waist is sized like 34, 38, 42, 50 or whatever, but the pants are all unhemmed. So there would have to be some hemming for those if you donated those. But like those two shirts you're seeing there now, those are the one on the right is a navy. It's actually looks black, but it's a navy, very dark navy. And the one on the left, that was a IHOP uniform, but there's no logo on that. Those are all plain. So there's no embroidery or stitching on that. And so if they don't mind a royal blue stripes on the collar, they're nice for donating to nonprofits or a homeless coalition. Then these other shirts here, you see I have embroidery on them. We've got several thousand caps, have IHOP on them. And what happens is when a company has a contract with IHOP or Fazoli's or ShopRite, they have to maintain so much inventory in stock. And when that contract expires and they give it to a new company, then that company, they are prohibited from buying from anybody else. They can only buy from that new contract. So therefore, this was left over apparently when their contract expired. And also you can notice that Chili's and a lot of them, they change their logo every few years. They'll change their look a little bit. So these are the old Chili logos, probably 5, 6 years old, okay? So we have this stuff that's all available. We're not selling it. It's going to be donated. And I'd love to donate it to some homeless coalitions or someone that could benefit from it. So we don't have to dispose of it into the landfill.
That's wonderful. That's incredible. I know there are a lot of folks who need some clothes out there. So.
And they're welcome to come down and make an appointment to come down to the warehouse and look at this stuff. You know, you don't have to be under any obligation other than take the time to drive down. We're located on highway just off Highway 24, 20 miles west of Macomb, off of I-55. You can email me, Dan at 511auction.com, or Dave has all my contact, my phone numbers and information. I'll give you my cell number now. If you want to jot it down, 941-457-9646. That's my cell. You can either call or text me.
Wonderful. Dan, thank you so much. Are there any other questions for Dan? Going once, going twice. All right, Dan, it's sold your way. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here today and to share these resources. You know, one of the things that we know in Mississippi is we are not short on people trying to help us out and do good things. And so thank you for doing this all the way from Florida. And when you are back again in Mississippi, we look forward to connecting and taking a look at your site. So thank you, and we appreciate your time. Let's see here, Carla. Members may be interested. Okay, great. All right, so with that, we're going to go ahead. We've got a few minutes here. Any last minute community announcements? Anything else to share? Okay. Well, thank you all for taking the time to be here today, and for all of you who are watching this later on the coast who've been affected by Hurricane Zeta, we certainly wish you well, and your families and your teams, and of course, obviously, in these times with COVID, please take care of yourselves, and we look forward to seeing you next week. And we've got just, you know, in less than 10, I think, more of these, probably like 6 or 7 until the end of the year, folks. We are in the home stretch, which is terrifying. So also, I should say, I almost forgot to mention this. Tuesday is kind of an important day. Please, please, please get out the vote. Doesn't matter what your political persuasion is, everybody should be voting. Every voice matters. And so please take some time, go this week, go this weekend, make a plan, help people get there. And if you are interested in volunteering, I know that there are lots of organizations out there trying to put people to work to do good things, so we can all make sure that everybody's voice is heard and counted. Carla, on that note, do you mind if I share out that volunteer opportunity that you shared with me yesterday?
Sure, they need some help.
Beautiful. All right, y'all. Mississippi Votes is looking for some callers on election day. It is not that heavy of a lift. You can do it from home. I highly encourage, if you are an organizational leader out there, consider letting your team do some volunteer work on election day. It's one of the most important things we do as a community. And so with that, thank you for all that you do. Be safe, be well, and we will see you next week when we have some wonderful things to share. So thanks, y'all.